Namaste, namaste, and welcome to this short video practice. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the plank variations that we've been doing in class recently. So hopefully for this video, you're already warmed up. But if you're not, we're going to do just a few little things before we hit our planks proper. So coming down to the mat, we're going to place the hands underneath the shoulders, there or thereabouts, and the knees underneath the hips for a little tabletop position. And then here, try to think about pressing the mat away from you or pressing your body away from the mat. So you're not sinking in the shoulders, there's no slouchiness here in the back. We are firm across the center of the body and pressing the hands and the feet and knees downwards. Here, rolling your shoulders. So we stay in this hands and knees position, but we're moving the shoulders as if we were rolling the shoulders in an upright position. And if that feels like something that doesn't come naturally, you can try just shrugging your shoulders up and down or drawing the shoulders towards the floor and then away from the floor. So both of those movements are involved in shrugging the shoulders. And when they become more natural, your shoulder shrugging will happen more naturally as well. When you're ready, or your shoulder rolling, sorry, when you're ready, you can take your weight off your hands, taking your hips back towards your heels, or kneel upright if you like, and then just shake out the wrists a little bit. Interlace the fingers, roll the wrists in any direction that feels good, and go the opposite way as well. And you can always roll the backs of the hands and palms of the hands towards each other to release as well. So we want to find a way to release the effort the wrists make in between these variations so that we don't carry tension from one to the next. So for those of you who found the shoulder rolling on hands and knees more difficult, you can do a little bit of shoulder rolling upright as well at any time to help release. So we're going to come back to our hands and knees and turn our cat-cow into a moving cat-cow. So we'll do static first and then moving. Hands and knees, perhaps hands just a little bit further away from the knees than they would normally be in tabletop. Firm across the belly muscles. Roll the inner elbows ever so slightly towards each other to feel the upper arms, chest and back switch on. And then inhaling as you look forward, gently gliding the shoulder blades down, scooping the belly in, and exhaling as you keep the belly firmed, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. Inhaling, we're allowing length in the front of the body, but firming the belly muscles so it's just not too much. And then rounding through the spine, allowing length in the back of the body. A little squeeze of the buttocks perhaps here. Inhaling forward. And exhaling as we round. This time, as we round, we're going to allow the hips to come towards the heels. And as we inhale forward, a little soft in the elbows, letting the shoulders travel beyond the hands as we look forward and up, and then rounding through the spine as we allow the hips to come down to the heels. This is a really dynamic version of cat-cow. It's really good for beginning to develop strength through the arms and the upper body, but also that sense of control through the center of the body. So let's just do one more of these. And then we're going to finish by taking the weight off the hands, patting the hands back towards us to kneel in whatever position feels good. Shake out the wrists, roll the wrists, do anything that feels like it's releasing the effort of the wrists so that you come to the next part of the practice without effort. So we're going to take our bodies into downward dog, and we're going to move from downward dog into plank a little bit, and then we'll find our way to plank proper. So hands slightly forward of where they would be if they were under the shoulders, and then soft in the knees. Press onto the feet to come up into this sort of crouching position, but pressing the chest back towards the thighs to lift the hips up. Finding that gentle roll of the inner elbows towards each other to really engage the upper body, and then lengthening the legs a little just to lift the hips, maybe easing one heel down and then the other. As you work from side to side, you can also turn your head if you'd like to, just easing out the back of the neck. And when we've gone from side to side a little, we can come into the center and see about easing the heels towards the floor. You can keep your knees as bent as you need to here to keep that tailbone lifted. And then we're going to press off the toes to draw the shoulders forward. So we bring the body into this plank position. So the body is flattened. There's a scoop in of the belly, a slight lift away from the floor, and then press back into plank pose, into downward dog pose. So from downward dog, we press off the toes to bring the body forward into plank, hinging at the hips, and then press back into downward dog. Let's go forwards and backwards 3 more times. Feel the firmness in the center of the body. We're firm in the legs, the belly, the buttocks, the space between the shoulder blades, the shoulders themselves, the chest. Last time, forwards and backwards. I hope. I've kind of lost count from all the talking. And then we're going to rest the knees down to the mat and find child's pose, resting the forehead either to the floor or resting on the backs of the arms or a block if it feels good. Take the child's pose variation that you prefer. So it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it feels good. You can soften that effort between the shoulder blades. Let the back of the neck relax, the wrists relax, the belly relax. And then when you're ready, you can come into an upright position and do anything that feels good to release the wrists. So we've just done that variation of plank to down dog on the hands, and I want to offer you a variation that is wrist-free. So this is really a dolphin. So we're going to take the forearms, and so if we take the hands to the floor first and then put the elbows down where the hands were. And here you can do anything with your hands. You can bring the palms together, you can interlace the fingers, you can press the palms down, turn the palms up with the hands apart, if you like, whatever suits you. And we're in a kind of crouching position, almost like a down dog, but with the knees down and the elbows down. We're going to shift our weight into our toes and press the chest back towards the thighs so we find a little bit of length in the back of the neck. Press into the floor with the hands and the forearms, scoop in of the belly, and then here we're firming the legs as we bring the shoulders forward, and then pressing through the hands to bring the shoulders back. And we can step the feet a little bit further back so that we actually come into more of a plank pose as we come forward. Hips come towards the floor, and then scooping the hips up and back. So we're again pivoting from that place in the body where the legs meet the torso. That's the bit that's moving. Everything else is nice and firm and steady. And we're nice and firm across the legs, the belly, the buttocks, the chest, and the upper back. Let's do one more. Forwards, towards plank, back to dolphin. And then we can rest again in child's pose of your choice, allowing the head to rest on something so the back of the neck can release. A couple of deeper breaths, finding a sigh out through the mouth if that feels good to you. And then when you're ready, coming up into kneeling, releasing the wrists in any way that feels good, if you need to, or wriggling through the shoulders perhaps. So plank is done in lots of different ways. There is no one correct alignment that suits everybody, and the plank is demanding in any shape. So if you're just watching just now, you sometimes see people in classes with their hips quite high, and you sometimes see people in classes with their hips quite low and everything in between. They're all valid postures, but it's being able to exhibit strength and control during those postures. So the first variation we're going to do is to actually lift the hips up and down. And so we're trying to find kind of a range of movement that feels supported by our shoulders and chest and back and centered core. So taking the hands underneath the shoulders, stepping the feet back, making the legs strong by pressing the heels away and firming the backs of the back of the body a little bit. We're firm in the belly muscles here. We're just going to let the hips come down a little without losing that firmness across the back of the body, and then lift the hips up a little without losing that firmness across the back of the body and the front of the body. So hips come down a little and up a little. We're not moving anything else. The shoulders are quite still. The heels are quite still. We're just lifting and lowering. It's much harder than it looks to do it with good control. We want the body to work all of the time. So if you get to the bottom of the movement and your shoulders sag, you've switched off the movement. This is not helpful. We want to keep the body nice and firm all of the time. Up and down. And then when you're ready, you can allow your knees to come to the mat, take child's pose, or just kneel upright. Feel a nice release of the wrists. We can do the same motion on our forearms. So just as before, we're going to take the hands to the floor and then place the elbows down where the hands were. Step the feet back, firm the legs themselves, and you can allow the hips to come down a little, hips to come up a little. Press the forearms and the hands into the floor. Feel that great strength happening through the back of the body, the front of the body, the buttocks, belly muscles, space between the shoulder blades. And then when you're ready, resting down again. I like to, when I've been doing forearm things, I really like to release the upper back and the chest. So interlace the fingers in front of you, round through the upper back, chin to chest. Imagine you're trying to draw the fingers apart from each other. So really lengthening into the back of the body and sway the hands from side to side. This allows a little bit of wriggling and rolling through the back of the body. When you're ready, coming back to an upright position, roll anything that needs rolling. Our last plank variation is to come into plank pose and shift the weight forwards and backwards on the mat. So there are obviously loads of other plank variations, but these are the ones we're doing today. So hands and knees to begin with, taking the feet back. We're going to start with the shoulders over the hands, firm belly, firm buttocks, just finding whether your hips up or down or somewhere centered feels good, trying to keep the hips still. And then we're taking our weight forward, so shoulders forward onto the very tips of the toes, and then taking the balls of the feet back to the floor, maybe pressing the heels back slightly, shoulders behind the hands slightly. So forwards and backwards. We're rocking on the feet. The rest of the body is quite still. We don't move the neck. We don't really move the hips up and down. We're really firm across the belly muscles. And of course, that space across the chest and upper back. When you're ready, release your knees down. Take a moment to just calm off the wrists. One of the really nice things to do, because we're finished on the wrists, is to turn the backs of the hands towards the floor and just ease a little bit of effort, a little bit of weight into the backs of the hands. And that just lengthens out everything that needs lengthening. You can roll and wriggle and release in any other way that feels good. Our last practice is to do that same plank, but on the forearms. So forearm planking is a little bit more challenging than hand planking for most people. So don't worry if you can't manage as many of these. Build your strength gradually over time. We're going to place the hands down where we would for hands and knees, then place the elbows down where the hands were. Press into the forearms, lengthen the legs, take the feet back a comfortable distance, shoulders over the elbows, and then pressing into the hands, we draw the weight forward and back. So shoulders come forward, shoulders come back, pivoting on the toes and the balls of the feet. The back of the rest of the body doesn't really move. As we come forwards and backwards, we're nice and firm across the belly muscles. Doesn't matter if your hips are a little bit higher or lower than neutral, as long as you keep them there. One more. And then this time we're going to rest all the way down onto the belly. Make a pillow out of the hands, forehead to the back of the hands. Turn the toes in, turn the heels out. Give the hips a little wriggle from side to side. Soften all of the effort. Across the back of the neck, the shoulders, shoulder blades, chest, belly, buttocks, legs, and feet. You can bend your knees here and just circle the ankles. Wriggle the toes. Maybe sway the feet from side to side. Get a little sense of release across the fronts of the thighs, the front of the pelvis. When you're ready, relaxing the legs, take a deep breath in. Thigh out. And hands underneath the shoulders. Pressing back into an extended child's pose. Reach the fingertips away from you. Reach the hips towards the heels. One more deep breath in, sighing out. Then walk your hands back towards you. And as we come to an upright position, here we can interlace the fingers behind the body. Roll the shoulder blades and the palms of the hands towards each other. Think about opening the chest. And then if you wish to, you can lengthen the arms a little. And if you wish to, you can sway the arms from one side to the other. Just trying to keep the palms of the hands towards each other. And then when you're ready, releasing, rolling through the shoulders, softening the wrists. So that was just a short practice of different ways to use plank pose. And hopefully you'll feel how much centered strength you need for that. And so remember, once it looks graceful and effortless, that's when you are at your strongest. I will look forward to seeing you again for another practice soon. Namaste.